filter through garbage in order to find these nuggets that really do make me a better person or make us a better company.
Which does happen.
It happens a lot. Your feedback is valuable.
Some people have abused this, but all the WAN shows or anything else that I'm in, I load all the comments, which sometimes takes a while, and then I Control F for my name every time, because I want to know. There's good stuff, which is nice, but there's also negative stuff, and sometimes the negative stuff is very legit. I should act on that, and I try to. And sometimes it's not legit, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah.
And that's just, I don't know, that's what it is.
Yeah, and you know, I totally get it. It's frustrating when a show that you love gets canceled. And I don't want us to develop a reputation for creating things, letting you fall in love with them, and then ripping them away. Well, we don't want to be Netflix. Yeah, right? Yeah, like the number of shows that Netflix has left hanging on cliffhangers forever. It's you know what? Is there an equivalent to the killedbygoogle.com site for like Netflix shows that have specifically ended without wrapping up loose ends? Like, I wouldn't count something like The Dark Crystal, because it kind of ended it, right? And because it was a prequel, you obviously know where it's going from here. At least HBO has the courtesy to cut them before they're even finished. No. It felt abrupt. Yeah, people are discussing it, but no, there doesn't seem to be...
Not an equivalent site. There's a Decider, some website, I don't know, it has like a list of all of them, updated as of December 2nd this year, so it's pretty new. But there's no like Killed by Google style thing.
Okay, yeah, that would be really interesting to see, because I know they've done it a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And like to the point where it's really hard to motivate yourself. I feel this. It's really hard to motivate yourself to get invested in a new show, knowing that there is a huge chance that they're just going to rug pull you, and you're never going to know what happened to the poltergeist living in Sarah's attic, or you know, whatever character or plot point we're talking about.
Well, this is the same. We talked about this about Google a while ago with the whole Killed by Google thing. Is it makes you not want to adopt new Google services, which then makes them kill more Google services. So it puts them in this position where like they can't release things that are going to work because everyone's so sketched out about it being pulled anyways. So
I think Sin for the Win is trying to do the thing that you said, where you will see their comment. You won't, because they did it wrong, but I thought you should hear this. At Luke, you're looking super healthy and your hair is fantastic, and we just want you to keep living your life at its best.
Oh, thanks. I've lost a ton of weight, like actually a lot, probably more than your son weighs. And I still have more to go. But I'm starting to get to the point where I'm shifting gears, where I want to start building muscle more than I want to start losing weight. So I'm not there yet, but I'm getting into the area of the actual just raw weight that I want to be at, but I'm not at the composition that I want to be, if that makes sense. I'm still carrying too much fat.
Lundo Spark asks, do we have a new name for the lab, formerly known as Lab 32? I think we're settled on LTT Labs for now. We couldn't really come up with anything way better, and we already own the domain, so we just put this.
Yeah, I reserve the right to change things.
Yeah, we could totally still change it, but we haven't yet. Apparently someone registered killedbynetflix.com in 2020, so someone else had the same thought for sure.
Yeah, we should do something with it.
Speaking of Luke being wonderful, Luke hosts videos again now.
Oh yeah,
good job. Lots of really positive feedback on both the OVH infrastructure tour and it was like, oh wow, Luke appears. Oh, it's amazing.
I told you I read every comment that has my name in it, and I do. That took a long time with that video. It was weird. I looked at the channel, and half of the videos that were up were by you, and half of the videos that were up were by me, and I was like, what years?
I know,
What's
right?
going on? I was like, this feels a lot like 2015 or something.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I don't know. not particularly. It just happened that we had decided to do the ARC challenge thing a while ago.
Yeah.
We had done the Linux challenge thing before, so that wasn't new.
Yeah.
We had decided to do that. I would go to.
Well,
France
he
to
called
do,
dibs.
I did.
Hard.
I did. I really wanted to do that.
Hard.
I'm very happy that I did. But I called dibs on doing the OVH tour in France quite a while ago, and then they all just sort of happened at the same time.
Well, Luke being in his own ARC video was not supposed to happen.
That too.
Yeah, that wasn't made up for a funny intro.
Yeah.
He just his entire part got cut from the video files. So.
Yeah. So it was more like chance than anything. Nothing's really like changing. I have more people to manage now than ever.
Yeah, he like does not have time to be in videos.
I'm not a regular video host. I do once I'm actually working from office. I would like to do things like tech links a little bit more often.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I don't want to be a complete stranger, but I'm not a regular host. You're not going to see me on the channel as much as you did recently. I do wish those videos did. But one of them was a sponsored video, and one of them was.
One with cutting room floor almost.
Yeah. So it's probably okay. Oh, it did hunt 1 million. There we go.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. You know what else is fine? So.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there it is! LTX 2023, baby! July 29th and 30th, 2023 at the Vancouver Convention Center. I will see you there!
Yeah, I'm actually super excited because it's been a long time since I've been to a convention. This has been the longest in my life since I ever went to a convention that I haven't been to a convention.
Yep.
So it's weird. I'm excited LTX is coming back.
We are branding the land, Whale Land. That is official.
Cool.
Like, it is so stupid how some of our branding comes to be. Was that one your suggestion? I can't remember.
Land?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't remember who suggested Whale Land anymore. But it was just based on like a silly conversation.
A lot of them are off the cuff.
Yeah. And Sarah just did such a bang up job with the branding for it, the artwork, that it's just like, how could we possibly
So we're
stop
bringing
using
back
it?
like the whale with the chain?
Well, yeah.
That's one of my favorite
The
logos.
whale with the chain is never going anywhere.
For anything we've like ever had.
Yeah,
so I'm
so
actually very stoked.
whether it's at LTX or whether we do more standalone LAN events, I believe we are going to stick with whale branding for our LANs. I think we're going to continue to offer whale perks. So like, $5,000, $10,000 tickets, and just like build packages around it that
actually
hopefully make sense.
Which is insane, but yeah.
And for everyone else, like just normal pricing, but for, Whale Land, I don't know, Whale Land, sure.
Yeah.
General admission, we have pricing up. Single day is $35, 2 days is $60. The BYOC is $100. So that will be the Whale Land as well as 2 days of admission. Oh, or is that in addition? That might be in addition. Ooh, don't quote me.
Usually those are done in addition.
I think that's in addition. So it's $100 for 2 days of Whale, and that actually makes way more sense, $50 a day. There's add-ons, so you can do office tours, merch packs, either LTX or Whale Land merch packs. And look at that, we've got VIP packages including the whale, $10,000. Multi-day access, dedicated BYOC seat, $5,000 customized computer, reserved main stage seating, express line punch card, that's right, you can skip lines, VIP meet and greet session, whale merch pack, office and labs tour with transportation and lunch, hotel room Friday to Sunday, food provided during the event, special thanks on ltxexpo.com, and more. The whale package.
People were asking if there was going to be whale merch. I've already seen.
Yes. Oh yeah, gonna be yeah. Ticket sale wait list is right down here. You guys are gonna want to jump on that.
I have questions. They might be answered on the site.
You have questions. Yeah. I have answers, and they might be wrong because I'm not the one organizing it. Takes some pull on top of that.
So Whale Land was overnight.
Yes. It looks like it is. Yes.
Because usually in Expo
this appears to be overnight to me.
That's so sick. Oh, that's exciting.
You're not sleeping now.
Oh, probably not. Let's go. Dude, that whale man, my dad was up until like...
Your dad's hardcore. He's an absolute mad lad.
He was up until like, I think it was like 6 or something, and then he had to teach a class the next day, and he just did it, and then came back. Kept landing. One of my buddies that was there stayed there until super late, drove home, noticed there was something wrong with his truck, wrenched on his truck until the morning, got his truck working, and then came back. Like half the people we were with didn't even sleep. If you noticed, one of them just started doing push-ups before we played Left 4 Dead.
I didn't notice that.
You know him, I can see his name. It was Darius.
Yeah.
He just started doing push-ups for Left 4 Dead because he's trying to get his blood flow because he hadn't slept. So he was trying to get amped up before he played us because we were like the team to beat, right? So I love my like old school group of friends from high school and my dad who's like part of that group of friends. Go pretty hard. We're used to going to PAX, and we're always frustrated because PAX closes the land pretty early. Yeah, to be honest. I'm like, I get why.
Yeah, there's not liability concerns, lots of things.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it's way cooler if you don't have to do that. So I am stoked. I hope to see some of the people from the last whale land and this one. That would be really cool.
There's no way they don't show up.
Because that was a good crowd.
Yeah,
that was a blast.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. And if you missed them, maybe it's time to disclose this. If you missed them at the LTX Whale Land, I might be working on access to a location that could potentially result in like quarterly land parties. Do you not know about this?
No.
Oh.
That's cool. I like this. How did I not know about this?
Here, let me just give you a hint.
Okay, I did sort of. I just didn't know it was like actually happening.
It's happening.
Ooh, okay. I had heard the grumbles of it potentially happening.
It's happening.
Okay, that's
it's happening. It's one of those things where probably like, as long as we don't lose money on it, like we did with Whaleland, from a business standpoint, I think it's great for community engagement. It's just a lot of fun. I like fun.
It was a really fun one.
What's the point of being a successful business owner if from time to time you don't just take some of that money and just do something we like want to?
I can say this now as like a we know how, as in we have done it, instead of a we know how as in we have the concepts. Yeah. But we know how to run a good land.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was like really fun.
There was activities to do a lot of time. Yeah. And the people that showed up, and we pressed people about this a lot.
Yeah.
Because we said, like, don't even bother showing up if you're not going to want to engage in group activities, and we're going to have a bunch of events and group activities. But people did that. It was great. Like, the basically everyone. I didn't really notice anyone there that was just being, like, super antisocial.
Total wet blanket,
Yeah, like, everyone was engaging with stuff. We would do, like, non-computer gaming activities, like we did chair curling. Yeah. And, like, the whole place was up.
Oh, yeah, it was wild.
And hanging out.
Yeah, it was
throwing
great.
chairs around and stuff. Like, it was very entertaining. I'm excited about this one, and I'm excited about the potentiality of quarterly.
Hob Soltoff asks, if you're going to do it quarterly, can you sell a lifetime ticket? No. I mean, the cost is, like, of running it every single time. It's not like software, you know, where, like, you develop it once, sell a perpetual license for it, and then, you know, people have to, like, buy new versions of it later or whatever. It's like, no. The actual cost is, like, every time. And I can tell you right now, like, at a typical LAN admission, which would be like 30 to 50 bucks a day, there's actually not as much margin as you would probably think. Especially here in Vancouver, where rental rates are so expensive.
You're taking a dedicated space that big up. There's things other people can do to make more money using it, which means it's going to cost a certain amount.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, sure, if it was $1 million or whatever, yeah, fine, but like, that's not what, I'm sure that's not what you guys are talking about. A $69,000 lifetime pass. I mean, tell you what, if you'll pay that much, I will personally sign your golden ticket that gives you admission to every future Linus Media Group and associated companies event. All right.
Yeah. With a regular level ticket, you don't get the whale ticket every time. I think you'd actually lose money on that really quickly.
Yeah.
Did like 2 years. Oh man.
I'm gonna confirm that the BYOC is extra. There, I did it. I'm pretty darn sure. Oh, actually, you know what? I have notes. Holy crap! There's a whole bunch of notes I'm supposed to be talking through.
There is.
It's good. So it'll be in the West Building, so a different building than last time. It's a newer building with more control over the lighting, the ability to do more with signage. We're going from 78,000 square feet last time to 112,000 square feet to accommodate all the improvements we want to make. It's gonna be huge. There will be the expo itself, office tours, giveaways, local activities, as well as the overnight whale land. There you go. Confirmed.
Let's go.
All ticket prices are in USD. On-site purchases will be in CAD, but that price will just be converted from USD, so the price will be the same.
Yep.
You can sign up to be notified ahead of when tickets are scheduled to go live. If you are an LTX 2020, remember the one that didn't happen, VIP ticket holder, you will be contacted by our team before tickets go live with the email you used to purchase your 2020 ticket. We want to make sure that if that was what you wanted, you don't just get scooped by someone else and you don't get a chance to get it.
That's cool.
Ticket sales are expected to go live around the end of January, and we'll update ticket info on the website before sales if any major changes occur. We are going to need volunteers. You can sign up on the site to get notified when we start going through applications. Shout out to the awesome volunteers from LTX 2019. Oh, if you want to know about booths and activations, we actually have some confirmed booths and activations. We have tidbits of info on those currently listed. We'll add more as we get closer to the event. Oh, but okay, well, hold on a second. I want to know what we have confirmed. What's confirmed? What's going on here? Expo. Oh, here we go. Returning classics. The Retro Lounge. So it'll have more retro games, arcade machines, phone charging stations, comfy seating, and more. The Case Toss, an LTX classic.
That's good.
The goal is the same as always, throw a computer case as far as possible. We're going to add additional lanes to help reduce wait times. LTTstore.com will be there, so you can buy merch in person. CPU delidding and GPU repasting will be making a return. LTX is not liable for any damage that may be caused as a result of your teardown or modification of your components. And the Build a PC workshop. We will be allowing people to learn the basics of computer building with real working hardware. It might not be working, but it'll be real. They might have to get that fixed. By the end of the workshop, you should have a computer that actually boots and runs, except you don't get to keep it. I really don't think we should do it that way. I think we should...
Yeah, you should just take broken hardware.
Yeah, we should have broken hardware. Well, anyway, we'll figure that out. Clearly, there's still internal discussions to be had. We have some new stuff, aiming at different frame rates, so you can, like, really feel the difference. So we're going to have, since Minesweeper was getting a bit stale, this year's high score challenge will be 3D pinball, so get practiced up.
Cool.
And you'll be able to do your first 3D print if you've never done one. We're going to have like an HDR experience booth. It's one of those things that's really hard to describe, but really easy to experience. We're going to have like keyboard and switch testers, so you guys can try all that kind of stuff out.
All the windows is pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's
every Windows.
Sweet. That's cool.
See how computers have evolved, so you'll be able to just like sit down in front of them and like try and do stuff, which is pretty cool. We'll include games that were prominent on each OS, so you can kind of go through that evolution for yourself. Lots of stuff to interact with is really the goal.
Do we this might maybe I don't know. Is Bob and Rod coming?
I don't know if we've explicitly reached out to them yet, but if they're not there, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get that sorted out sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Bob and Rod are our friends from BS Mods.
Yeah.
Rod's probably watching. Rod, consider this your formal invitation.
Yeah.
Whatever we got to do to get you there, you just let me know.
Yeah, because they did like a
Bob out of
hardline tooth bending thing last time.
Yeah, those guys are utterly amazing.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah, Rod. Okay, Rod's in the float plane chat. Yeah, I figured.
Hey, there he is.
There he is. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. We'll see you there, man. Man, I haven't seen them in 3 years. It's been 4. Yeah. What the crap?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Go f yourself, COVID. For real though.
Yeah.
All right. Special guests? Yes. If you are part of the media or a content creator and you wish to attend LTX, please email info@ltxexpo.com. As with last time, we have I'm not going to say blank check, but a huge budget for flying out creators. It was a really, really cool element of LTX 2019 that there were just so many creators there, lots of collab opportunities. So even if, meeting up with fans isn't necessarily your favorite thing, it's just a ticket, plane ticket, hotel, and expo ticket with really no strings attached. You can come and do it however you want. If you just want to get together and hang with other creators, obviously we'd prefer if you spent some time with the attendees as well. But we're not going to have any kind of commitments or anything like that. Just come on out, and we just want to get as much of the tech community together as possible. We won't be able to accommodate everyone. Obviously, if you've got like 400 subscribers and someone with 40,000 or 400,000 subscribers also wants some of that budget, we're going to have to try to, make it make sense, have as many people there that people want to do meet and greets with and stuff like that as we can, but we're going to try to accommodate as many as we can.
That's when it comes to trying to help people travel there financially, but you can get meeting tickets.
Also, if your company wants to partner with us, go to ltxexpo.com/partners. You can follow LTX Expo on Twitter if you want to get updates, or Facebook or Instagram. Oh, I have to disclose another investment. I haven't actually made it yet, but I've said I'm going to do it because I think it'll probably be fine, but I haven't actually written a check, so if you guys are ultimately super mad about it, then we can just not do that. So it's not too late, but they really needed an answer, and I think it's pretty chill. I can't really name any names, but I will try and give as much detail as I can in the interest of you guys understanding what it is about, without causing any problems for the people involved. So, someone who worked on a network storage product that I have really enjoyed using for a long time is no longer with that company and has a plan to create a NAS software that is basically everything that I was asking for about that software, and everything that he and I have agreed on for a long time needs to be done to make DIY NAS more accessible to just average people. So he is planning to start up and has asked me to come in as an angel investor and basically give him a year or two of runway to get this thing off the ground. Obviously there's some equity changing hands, but it's not about that for me, and it's not about that for him. He's already got some really interesting partnerships, and he's already got some money from an established NAS software company on whose product he will be basing his. So there's already some momentum, and I am very supportive of his vision for what a user-friendly NAS should be. And he doesn't want to go to a random investor. What I'm trying to say is he could, but he would rather not. And so he came to me saying, look, Linus, I think this is an amount of money that you can probably afford. I think that you understand my vision and believe in the product. From my point of view, we don't review NAS software anyway. We use it, and we will continue to use it, but I don't see that as something that, as long as we are sufficiently disclosing everything that, anytime we're kind of covering that stuff, which we very rarely do, I don't see it as a huge conflict of interest, but yeah, someone seems to really care, so maybe I just don't even need to keep.
Yeah, I want to focus on it. I mean, you do review laptops.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, my personal commitment to you guys is that I'm not going to let it affect anything. I haven't let my investment in Framework prevent me from recommending another laptop over Framework. At the end of the day, you guys are just going to have to trust me. And this is really frustrating for me because I know of other tech creators who have undisclosed investments. We're not actually required to disclose anything.
I mean, we also know of tech creators that
I don't want to stir up drama.
yeah, I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, on the one hand, I think it's really easy to pick me apart and say, hey, Linus is invested in Framework, so he, you know, whatever, is bad and stuff. But the reality of it is, like, guys, take the devil you know, I guess. It's what my takeaway would be. And so, yeah, I'm not gonna pull punches. I think that, again, this is a guy / company who knows that I'm gonna be his biggest critic as an investor, and because we've had a long-term working relationship, I'm comfortable with it, and so that's why I have soft confirmed. The amount will be quite similar to my investment in Framework, so it's about $250 million, and if it comes to life, whether I make back any money or not, I'm going to be stoked on that investment because I really want this software to exist.
It would be nice.
Yeah, there's something wrong with every DIY NAS software, and the tipping point for me was when I was at home. I had gotten the email like a week earlier, because I don't want to think about what's involved in saying yes, but I don't want to say no. I understand why they're coming to me, but also they're putting a lot of pressure on me. I kind of wish I wasn't in this situation. Was what I was thinking. And then for a number of reasons, I had to set up a NAS with something other than Unraid. So I'm using Unraid as my main like virtualization NAS, and it's got all my hard drives in it. And I was setting up a NAS that was going to be using SSDs for a significant amount of the storage. Unraid still doesn't support trim on SSDs, which is catastrophic for both performance and the lifespan of the drives. I was like, well, that's not acceptable. So, you know what, I'm going to set up TrueNAS. And I was going through setting up TrueNAS, and I started drafting an email back to this person with everything about setting up TrueNAS that is just needlessly obtuse. And I talked myself into it. I was like, clearly the product that I want to exist does not exist.
It might not be needlessly obtuse.
It is needlessly obtuse. Don't make me show it to you.
In a professional stand.
No, it's oh well, yeah, sure. But I'm talking for
But he's
end
talking
users.
about personal and NAS, which like doesn't really. There are some people that are gonna have home labs and they walk out with application because it's like experimental.
No, there's no reason for it to not work out of the box. No. You can have complication, and you can have it be endlessly configurable. I'm not arguing with that. But it should work out of the box. Or if you press a thing that doesn't work, that contradicts another thing, it should tell you. If you're going to pop up an error message, it should be a verbose and helpful one. No, I reject it.
I think an error message makes sense. I don't necessarily.
That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
I don't know 100% what you're describing.
That's what I mean by obtuse.
Well, that's not always what that means.
Okay.
Because you could mean there's too many
obtuse.
options or too many settings.
No. Okay, I know. So obtuse means like it's kind of like needlessly complicated or like unnecessarily difficult. So here's something.
Yeah, but okay.
You can't rename the root pool unless you submit it. You can do it in the GUI. There's a GUI place to rename it. Like you can, you just can't.
Okay.
But you can totally do it if you just like enter 2 commands. So why don't you put a thing in the GUI And on the back end, it just issues those two commands.
That's fair.
Okay, that's obtuse.
Yeah.
An SMB network share can be created, but cannot be accessed unless you create a data set for your Z pool and happen across the little drop down to set it to SMB type. That's obtuse.
So you would want it to automatically do that?
I would
2 days to figure it out.
I would want it to prompt me. When I create my SMB share, it should say, hey, you haven't created a data set for your Z pool and set it to SMB type. Or you haven't set you haven't set your Z pool to SMB type. But clearly I want an SMB network share, and if there's a dependency, I should be prompted. If you have a GUI, it should operate like GUI software.
I think that's fair enough. I do want to defend like command line straight.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not what that's not my problem. My problem is if you have a GUI that has a field, and there's no like operating system breaking problem that prevents you from changing that field, because you can totally just do it with 2 simple commands, then you should be able to just change it.
Yeah.
That's obtuse. That's what that word means. Yeah, also, like every other NAS software I've ever used, missing the most basic of buttons. The restore everything to default button.
Yeah.
How on earth does that not exist? Anyone can accidentally change something. Anyone, no matter how experienced. There should be hey, just reset to default both with or without destroying data sets.
Factory resets it.
So, this is the kind of, it was a total pain in the butt to verify that I had installed to a mirror. Once you're booted, it's like not obvious that your boot drive is mirrored, which was really annoying, hidden behind some stupid drop down. Deleting a random extra directory required command line for some reason. Like, just obtuse.
Which again, it requiring command line, I don't have a problem with on its own, but when it's for normal users, then yes.
If it's to delete a directory that like I can view, but just is impossible to remove unless I go into the command line, obtuse. And so that's my hope. That's what I hope these will solve. Oh man, I feel like we were looking at the topics for this week's web show, thinking like, what are we going to talk about? And we have been live for like over 2 hours.
I told you we can riff on stuff. So.
Yeah, iCloud mirrors end-to-end encryption, and the CSAM thing where they're searching for child sexual abuse material in iCloud photos has apparently been scrapped. They will still be monitoring iMessage. The FBI is none too pleased about the increased iCloud encryption, saying in a statement, this hinders our ability to protect the American people from criminal acts ranging from cyber attacks and violence against children to drug trafficking. The British are apparently super upset about it as well. Obviously, we take a realistic approach. We are mostly pro-encryption, pro-personal privacy, but also understand the other perspective. I think it's sort of a fair way to frame our stance on this sort of thing. I also just, I don't trust Apple that much. I mean, I guess technically this is verifiable. It's just that the way that Apple protects their Chinese users' data is not very protected at all. It's, I don't know. They've shown a willingness. They've gone to bat for user privacy before. Like the San Bernardino killer's case was a really high profile one. But then they've also completely caved when the stakes are high enough. That if you go down the rabbit hole on that data center that they are mandated to store all Chinese users' data on, and how it's like essentially run by the CCP. Okay. And once you have physical access to a server, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
So Xbox games are $70 now, though.
Yeah. Are PlayStation games as well?
I don't think so. Can we talk about the fact that this is even news? Like the fact that games were pinned at $60 basically from my childhood until now is
Actually,
incredible.
Yeah. How much would that be? Doing an inflation calculator.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll do it real quick.
I'm looking up. This is probably Canadian. Modern Warfare 2 on PlayStation is $90 Canadian.
That's probably about $70.
Yeah, because I thought PlayStation did it. That's what I was seeing.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
In 1992, if I purchased an item for $60, then in 2022, that same item would cost $127.45, which, in fairness, if you buy like a complete package or all the DLCs, many games actually do cost that much. But there's been this unwillingness or inability or whatever it is. There's been this block that has kept game developers from, especially on console, from deviating from this like $59.99 sell price.
Yeah, I think they would have to all do it simultaneously, like the AAA $69.99 price thing, whatever it is. But $59.
Apparently, PlayStation has been $70 for PS5.
Yeah, so I thought.
So Sony blinked first.
Yeah. That's a difficult thing to do because you're competing against another console. And if that other console, all their games is $10 cheaper.
Yeah. This is pretty big. Adobe is going to be selling AI stock images.
I have so many issues with AI art.
They brand this as amplifying human creativity.
I mean, I think it can, but when it's trained off of other people's art, it's such a huge issue. Someone commented on last episode saying they were stunned that I had never heard of something. In the notes, there was something. They fed GPT-3 prompts into this other thing, and it gave them interior design stuff. I had never heard of the thing that they used, and it was an AI art program.
Yeah.
So I went to go check it out. The front page for this, I don't already know the name, it doesn't matter. The front page for this AI art thing puts, I think it's like 6 or 9 random, recently generated AI art photos on the front. One of them was like almost freaking identical to something that I've seen before. So I called my girlfriend over and showed her. It was like, I know where this photo came from, but I want you to see it before I go look for it so I can prove that I called this.
Yeah.
And I went and found the original, and it's like almost spot on. It looks like someone did some like fairly mild filters in Photoshop.
Right.
It's like done. Like it's really close. People are trained with other people's art. It's not the same at all. That's a bad take. It's like when you farm it out this way, it becomes not similar. Yes, of course, people are trained off of other people's art. People are trained off of other people's everything. That's how learning works. But when you have it copied, it becomes a bit of a problem.
Now,
These things being original works becomes very questionable.
their generative AI policy prohibits submissions based on third-party content, including text prompts referring to people, places, property, or a particular artist's style without authorization.
So the prompt can't be a particular artist's style, but it can be trained off of that artist.
That I don't know. They're saying that they are going to seek to compensate people whose art is used to train the AI. Of course, this is a process that we have no way of actually validating as outsiders. We're heading into interesting waters. Apparently some PlayStation 5 games are $80, by the way. Yeah.
So that means Xbox games are still cheaper.
Yeah, I guess so, depending on which one.
Is it $79? When they say it's $70 now, is it $79.99 or is it $69.99?
I don't know. I hope they mean
$69.99, yeah.
no. Man, see, I'm already screwing it up. We're supposed to stop calling $69.99 it's $69.99. We're supposed to call it $70. I don't know if it's going to work. James is right, but I just don't know if it's going to happen. Yeah. Oh, merch messages. Hit me, Dan.
Okay. Got here from Elliot. What do you think the education system will do to counter the use of AIs like ChatGPT for cheating? I guess, you could also think about these Adobe AIs as well.
Luke and I talked about this afterward. I mean, I think one of the big things is going away from assignments that are write this thing and moving towards assignments that are more based around critiquing or validating a thing. I think that, I mean, you know what's interesting? I was thinking about this after we talked, and one of the things that we did in my challenge English class was we would actually have to write the entire assignment in class. Sometimes.
Is that valuable?
Yeah.
This comes back to the calculator question.
Oh, yes. It's valuable for the teacher because
yeah, but
it
is it
shows
valuable for the student?
Oh, okay. Yes.
It's like, is doing 5 times 5 valuable in a world where we have calculators?
But that's not what you're doing, because in this case we're talking about essay writing. So what you are doing is you are practicing the process of making an argument, which no, you are not going to be able to replace with an AI, because you're going to have to make arguments verbally as well. So you are training the skill of creating an argument, backing it up, and then summarizing your argument. That's what an essay is. And for the teacher, they are then marking not just your grammar and spelling or whatever else. They're marking your thought process, your ability to construct a cogent argument, which is arguably the most valuable possible life skill. If you cannot convey your ideas in a convincing way to other people, what possible hope do you have?
That's why we've talked about this before. I found a teacher that would mark me on my punctuation quite as hard all the time, because there was no way I was going to ever get that right.
Yeah.
With the dyslexia and stuff. Like, it was always going to be a problem. So it was nice when you sort of grading all those things. And that makes sense. You know what's something very fun too?
Yeah.
Is ask GPT how classrooms should operate in a world that has GPT.
Oh, interesting.
It actually gives answers related to kind of what you were just saying.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually in disagreement, I was just challenging.
Yeah.
But like, it's...
I won't have to fire you.
As
long as you don't actually disagree with me publicly. That was an almost straight-faced delivery of that. I am 100% joking. I just feel like I have to clarify that.
Good, I don't have to fire you. Yeah, it's interesting. It talks about just doing things in when it would be a problem in potentially slightly different ways.
Right.
Having to observe the visual creation, like you were just talking about. But it also talks about how in some cases, not that one, the calculator problem, like what is really the point if the point isn't something slightly alternative. Like maybe you should get them to do things that are more alike what they would do with this output, because output is not always going to be perfect, or it might not always be what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So you need to learn refinement.
Yeah, you could just grade harder.
Yeah.
Like, that's another thing too. Like, if the assignment is a book report on the Adventures of Tom Sawyer or something like that, you could basically tell them, look, you can use any tool you want, including an AI generator, but know this: if you get a plot point detailed wrong, or you have a spelling error, you immediately lose 50% of your grade, because I'll be able to tell you your grade. So you need to know the subject matter cold in order to tell if the AI output is actually accurate.
I like this one. It said have more in-class debate. That's an interesting one. There's maybe some problems with that. I don't know.
Yeah, not everybody participates in class, and oral participation is sometimes it encourages the wrong people to participate too much, and doesn't allow some of the more thoughtful people, especially if you're talking like high school, some of the more thoughtful people to really share what they're thinking. There's no perfect solution. So what you really need is a balance of different approaches.
And I think really the most important thing, and I've been surprised that I don't. I've also been okay. Yeah, I've got this one. I think it's very important that teachers are aware of its existence and that they don't necessarily continue following the exact status quo that happened for a while.
Yeah.
Because this is going to change. Something I've been surprised about with our usage statistics, it got to 1 million users in 5 days, which is pretty crazy. And they've been comparing that to other devices, things like Instagram, Facebook. Sure, I'm actually surprised it's not.
Really?
Maybe the speed, like 5 days to get to 1 million, okay, sure. I'm just surprised the number that it got to wasn't actually high. Because I'm stunned that like every student that has heard of this is not immediately using it.
Yeah, because the window for using it is very narrow.
Yeah, the education system is going to respond. They might have to. And it's still online now. It is now bookmarked and always open on my computer. Because I have started.
Because that's how he's always been doing his work anyway, by cheating, so you might as well cheat more efficiently.
I mean, if I could, why not? But like,
I've never done a real day's work in my life.
If you can take shortcuts that are good, like one of my best friends growing up, used to. This is not how he said it, but he effectively said that being lazy is a virtue.
Yeah.
Because it is a back end of because he will find ways to like not have to do this repetitive task. Doesn't mean he's worse at it. He's going to be creative and inventive to make some of that things better, or is now automated, or whatever else. And yeah, you should use the tools you have. But I use it in place of Google search sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm careful.
You gotta validate.
You have to validate.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, there's fairly simple things that I'll do to try to get an answer for. I got 3 ads. I got some clearly clickbaity websites that are just throwing like something that I hate doing is searching for reviews of like anything that isn't a section that has large careers behind it, because you're just going to get all these websites that are just like Amazon click farm websites,
Right.
that just try to give you like, oh, this is the top 10
CBD oil.
whatever,
Whatever,
snowboarding goggles, like scuba, whatever, like anything that you're looking for. It'll just be like, what are they actually? Well, probably the top 10 products on Amazon. Every single one of them has an Amazon link because they just want you to use their affiliates. But that's all they actually want. It's not actually good. It's so annoying. So with like those types of things, it's nicer to be able to just ask GPT and have it spit out an answer that is actually an answer right away. Might not be right, but you need to verify. To make sure that it's not like complete crap. But it's usually, if you know that it will confidently lie, in my opinion, it's not that hard to do, so it is.
Yeah.
But you have to be aware of it.
Dan.
Sure. Do you want to stay on the same vein or switch to something else?
Yes.
Okay, this one's from Brian. Stack Overflow has banned the use of ChatGPT completely. Blanket ban. Do you think this is the right move? Do you think we need some sort of AI detection for these kinds of systems?
I'm not gonna lie, it's reading. What do you think education systems should do?
Until the bottom of
With the bottom?
No.
Stack Overflow has been use of ChatGPT. So I heard about this. Do you think this is the right move? I think we need some sort of. I don't think there's anything they can do.
Yeah, how are they going to prove it?
The outputs from
That's the thing. What's the,
ChatGPT seem to be unique.
it's like banning being gay. Like,
We're gonna do it anyways.
yeah, it just is, and so all you're doing is forcing something underground, which is not beneficial to anyone.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't really get the. there's a lot of controversy around this because people think it's going to take their jobs. I don't necessarily think so.
And banning it ain't going to change that.
That too. I am pretty strongly of the opinion, and I've talked about this offline. I don't think I've talked about this on the show much, and I felt this much more strongly after watching Theo's video on this. Yeah, so Theo, the CEO of Ping.gg, we use them for our remote calls. So like when I was in France and Serbia, and we had to do that show, we used Ping.gg. We used them for remote calls for a while. He makes YouTube videos as well, and he has a pretty good video on using it for development. Now he's much more advanced developer, so he was not as interested in using it all the time, because I think the best use case for it right now is for people that aren't. So he's more interested in things like Copilot and whatnot, because he's actually going to get in there and write stuff originally. But he got it to do some impressive things. He also got it to fail, which is, I think, what pretty much everyone has done who's been using it. But yeah, after watching his video, I felt this even more strongly. I think companies that do layoffs, say GPT-4 comes out, and the new chatbot is out. These numbers are going to be wrong. If I remember correctly, GPT-3 is 300 million or 3 billion functions that it was trained on, or something. That's probably wrong. And GPT-4 is going to be like 4 times as or 5 times as much. Like GPT-4 is going to be a big jump here. You have some diminishing returns and whatnot, but it's going to be a big jump.
GPT-4 will be over 500 times larger than GPT-3. That means that it would have roughly the same number of parameters or connections as there are synapses in the human brain.
So you think GPT-3 with a chatbot is pretty cool? GPT-4 is coming, baby. It's going to be nuts. So like this is happening, and it's going to get a lot better. Does it have flaws right now? Yes. One of the big ones I've talked about is the rate limiting stuff. That's a thing. If it could just write, it would be significantly stronger. One of the biggest problems that I'm having my normie friends run into right now is they try to get it to write some code for them, and it doesn't work. And they ask me why it doesn't work, and they send it to me, and I'm like, oh, because yeah, I mean, it stopped writing partway through. It's truncated code doesn't end. But it's coming, and I think the companies that do mass layoffs, because whatever version, maybe like GPT-7 becomes good enough that you can replace certain levels of developers with it. The companies that do layoffs because of that are going to be the ones that fail long term. And the companies that go, wow, the developers that we have on staff right now are so much more just betterer, that we are producing at a higher rate, that we are more competitive, that we are this, that we are that, our code base is more stable because people are able to spend more time working on maintenance tasks, all these different things. The companies that see that, and either they don't fire, they either stay at their current staff levels, or they hire more because their company is more effective at doing the thing that it tries to do, are going to be the companies that succeed. I feel quite strongly about this. I think you're going to see companies take short-term gains in the way of laying off people to lower their salary count that they have to pay compared to their income, and then you're going to see other companies that don't take those short-term gains. They keep working at the level that they have been, and they just start massively outperforming this other company that laid people off. This company that laid people off is going to go bye-bye, and the company that didn't is going to go to succeed. I think, and deeply hope, that that's what's going to happen.
With that said, there's been some pretty good discussion in the Flow Playing chat about why Stack Overflow might have banned it, and there's 2 good reasons. One is as a cover your ass move, so that if someone does something catastrophically wrong based on an answer they got in the forum, they can point to it and say, well, that was like an AI generated thing, which is totally banned on our site, we'll remove it. Sorry about that. Number 2 is because it's spitting out a lot of wrong answers, and they don't want to pollute the validity of the information on their site with these GPT outputs. So they're hoping that by banning it, they will get fewer chat GPT outputs that will lead people down the wrong path, maintaining the the brand perception of their site. So I think those are pretty valid reasons.
They should find a way to get ChatGPT to pay them for Chrome website. But as it's completely open, that's really a realistic thing. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. It does do a lot of. I've said it every time, and I try to say it very often, just in case people haven't used it before and they start using it. It is confidently wrong often. You can help that a little bit by refining your inputs and whatnot. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a meme someone put out, which was like before GPT chat, whatever. I spent, was it like 6 hours writing code, and I spent 6 hours debugging code.
Yeah.
It's like after GPT-3, I spend, I think it's like 35 seconds writing code, and I spend 24 hours debugging code. It's like, yeah, there are those types of problems with it. So it's definitely not perfect. It's just quite incredible.
Yeah, I think we're something like counting down about that today. 30 seconds to write code. This one's from Noah, though. Hey, Linus and Luke, what are your thoughts on using large language models in game development? It's just all AI today. I feel
I was
like
gonna say that's what GPT.
I feel like even though they can't have their own opinions, they can be perceived like they do. Pretty cool.
If you just walked up to an NPC, like a random NPC, and could have like a long conversation with them, I feel like it could be really good for immersiveness, but really bad for gameplay. Like it's really cool. Again, if you want to go down a rabbit hole, I've recommended one rabbit hole already in this show, but this one's really cool. Look into the ways that game developers will try to guide the player through the level, through the experience, be it through lighting or through studying player decision making and creating mazes that are hard, but you can totally get through them. There's incredible. And so muddying up the important data that the user may gather from non-player characters with genuinely engaging conversations could be a big problem.
There's also, down that same line, in the same way that people can design malls, and you see a ton of this in Vegas, there's lots of like neurological stuff with how you perceive light reflections and different colors of things and whatnot. So different malls and whatnot will be designed in a way that they use certain materials on the floors in the hallways and different materials on the floors in the shops to guide you in different directions and to make it difficult to leave. That's a big one.
It turns out that you're just a monkey and someone is playing.
There's lots of ways to influence you.
A smarter
try to do it
monkey
all the
is doing
time.
it. Yeah.
There's peoples with doctorate. There's lots of people with doctorates whose whole job is to keep you using certain apps and services.
Yeah.
That is totally
They're gonna get you. Okay.
But yeah, I like that idea. So I think Dan even mentioned this in the chat, but feed, like, one of the problems that I would see with that is prompts, but you could feed it prompts based on your actions in the game, like your details about your character, stats about your character, all this different stuff. That could take in-game conversation to an interesting different level, especially because you can get large language models to speak in certain ways. Like, you can get it to speak like a pirate. So like that wouldn't even be. It's pretty cool.
A couple of people have brought up how useful it is for War Fortress because it generates so much text, but is written very naturally, and ChatGPT can like fix it right up, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
All right, what's next?
Oh, yeah, I got a super important one here for Luke. What's an ideal sandwich for you? Your ideal sandwich.
All right, thank you, producer.
I think probably 2 RTX 6000s. I got so many comments about that. And I knew I would. The second, so I say RTX 6000 in the chat video, and the amount of people that were like, dude, RTX 6000 doesn't exist, idiot. I'm like, I linked a bunch of people to the page, and then eventually it's just like, I'm not going to respond to these anymore because there were so many of them. On Floatplane,
Why didn't NVIDIA just keep the Quadro branding?
yeah, it would have been a lot better. Would have been way better.
So that anyone actually knows what the heck you're talking about.
So RTX 6000 is a dumb name. I was happy on Floatplane, the ever better comment area, that there was only like one person that said it, and people responded being like, "Here's the link. This is what it is. He didn't actually just make that up." Blah, blah, blah. On YouTube, there was none of that.
Go YouTube.
Yeah, I'm assuming the sandwiches question is coming from me calling them GPU sandwiches.
They might just want to know what kind of sandwiches you like.
Also that, I don't know. I like lots of sandwiches. I'm boring.
You a tuna guy?
Tuna's okay.
Well, like a turkey sandwich. Get that mayo turkey, get some of that salt and pepper on there.
Yep.
Right?
Chicken
Grilled cheese sandwich.
I like Black Forest ham sandwiches.
Okay, all right.
Grilled cheese sandwiches are
all right,
great.
so you'll eat anything that moves.
Yeah,
Okay.
sandwiches are good.
All right, fine.
Yeah. A lot of sandwiches don't move.
Sandwiches are beautiful. Sandwiches are fine. I like sandwiches. Sorry, man.
I thought that was a real question about sandwiches. I didn't know what's going on. This is from Kalan. Do you have any tattoos? Any notable tattoos around the company?
There are notable tattoos around the company.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Me neither.
Yeah.
You're gonna often find that we're rather boring.
Yes. Like, a lot vanilla.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe not too much vanilla.
Just a reasonable amount. Yes.
Alright, last one here is from Ethan. How long do you think it will take for Intel Arc to be competitive in the creative/professional market? Blender already supports it, but it's my understanding that it kind of sucks.
A long time.
Go ahead.
If you have specific AV1 ranking tasks that are stable, it seems to be quite good.
Yeah, I think they might mean like SolidWorks and stuff though.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't even have a professional line of GPUs yet. So let's not put the cart before the horse.
Give them a second.
Yeah, they're focused on data center and gaming, and there's a whole lot of in between that I think they can fill in later. Bill S asks if Nintendo wanted to collaborate on LTX Expo, would you accept them as a sponsor? I think we would disclose to them that we're not that happy with a lot of the things that they do.
They have not been all that interested in working.
Yeah, I mean...
I think probably because we've been quite open about this for a very long time.
Yeah, I think that one's a non-issue. And finally, Eric E. asks, big fan of the show and the channel. One of my hobbies outside of tech is cooking. What are your favorite pieces of tech that you use in the kitchen? I love my microwave.
So it's technically tech.
I used the dual once.
Did you?
Actually, it was a few weeks ago.
How was it?
Fine. I didn't leave it in. I used it for steaks, and I didn't leave it in the long time. I left it in the minimum amount of time, and that was a huge mistake.
Okay.
So they were pretty tough. Yeah. They were cooked.
It's somewhat.
But they weren't good.
It's somewhat different.
Yeah. I was in a hurry to cook, and I was like,
yeah.
oh, you know what? I'm totally gonna try the tool. Lol.
That's one of its big downsides. Is if you're in a hurry, you probably
Don't use it if you're hungry.
Yeah, you gotta know that you're going to be eating a meal in a while, and then be willing to go set it up. Yeah, and then it's pretty good. And it's not gonna make the best steak you've ever had, but it'll consistently do a really good job.
Yeah.
And you still need to sear it. You sear it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Or very unappetizing.
Barrington to Linus be like, this water is too spicy.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's pretty much it for the show today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Bye!
Bad time and bad channel.
Every weekday, we provide a fresh perspective on the events shaping your world.
been said endlessly that it's the first Arab country to reach the semi-finals. But that, it turns out, is a contentious statement. We look into the debates around Moroccan identity that this World Cup has sparked.
And more than a century ago, when Jews began emigrating en masse from Eastern Europe to America, they brought their food with them. The Jewish deli became a storied institution. But a new museum show asks whether it's still vibrant or yesterday's loss.
But first, the conflict in Ukraine is entering a critical stage. Troops on both sides are heading into a winter that will test all sorts of things. Their hardware, their supply lines, their morale. This may prove to be an inflection point. To chart the months ahead, The Economist has been given unprecedented access and exclusive interviews with Ukraine's military high command. Those charged with the defense of the country have shared their thoughts on the future of the conflict and the decisions that'll need to be made for peace in Ukraine.
So over the past 2 weeks, I've spoken to 3 men who are really at the center of Ukrainian support.
Arkady Ostrovsky is our Russia editor.
One is President Vladimir Zelensky, who I spoke to in the presidential building where he had spent basically every day and many nights since 24th of February when Russia invaded. The other is General Valery Zaluzhny, who is the commander-in-chief of Ukrainian forces, a formidable and incredible man in many ways. And the third man I saw with my colleague Oliver Carroll is Colonel General Alexander Syrsky, who is the head of Ukraine's ground forces and who has conducted some of the most daring operations around Kyiv and Kharkiv. And I got a sense of where we are in this war and the responsibilities and the choices faced by this man, particularly, of course, Vladimir Zelensky.
So let's start with the president then. What was his assessment of the current situation?
Vladimir Zelensky seemed pretty exhausted, but also very determined. He's been talking about pushing all the way back, retaking the territory that Russia had grabbed in Crimea and in Donbass in 2014. And not just going to the 24th of February lines, as some American diplomats, including Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State, have suggested. And the reason for that, as Zelensky explained to me, is that until Russians are really out of the country, until Putin loses any interest in conducting this war and reoffending, it will not be over.
Це було там на Донбасі, ми вже це бачили. Тобто забирають частину території, а потім заморозити на якийсь час. Це говорить на якийсь час стати більш потужнішим окупантам, готовим.
Freezing the conflict is only waiting for it to be relaunched again. And Zelensky is very interesting because to him as a politician, it's very important to find the language and to find the way to describe Ukrainian victory and Ukrainian advance in very tangible terms. Because it's one thing to talk about freedoms and democracy and the choices that Ukrainians should be allowed to make. But for a lot of people it's hard to grasp. And borders is something very tangible. And he also told me that he will go exactly where his people want him to go.
Because, you know, more than 95 or 96% of people want to deoccupy all their territory after Russia did it. I think
they're determined to get back to 1991 borders. And of course that task of getting that land back rests on the shoulders of his commander-in-chief, Valery Zaluzhny.
Clearly we've heard the name President Zelensky quite a lot over this time, but Mr. Zaluzhny not so much. Tell me about him.
Well, Valery Zaluzhny is the commander of Ukrainian armed forces, and he is the man who has been conducting this war. He's 49. He was too young to serve in the Soviet army. He is the product of something that Ukraine has become, a nation state, a country where agency really matters. And we talked about his style and how different it is and how different the leadership is from commandership, Soviet era, Russian imperial style command, the purpose of which is really to beat in obedience, break down individual will, suppress free thinking and initiative in many ways, and which is over-centralized and hierarchical. And he, with very limited resources, has managed to fend off Russian forces, retake quite a lot of land, push the Russians back, and I think he surprised everybody in the world who expected the Ukrainian army to fall in the first few days of the war.
So when you spoke to Mr. Zaluzhny, did he give you a sense for how he sees the situation now on the ground?
We're now in wintertime. Ukraine has retaken quite a lot of territory. But things are slowing down from here. Both sides are absolutely exhausted. And the dilemma is very, very simple, as he put it. On the one hand, there are Russian forces who, this is what he now has to prepare for, while also getting ready for another offensive. And each operation requires a certain amount of munition, of armor, of manpower. And he can calculate what he can do with the resource that he has. And that resource is limited.
So how is Ukraine going to deal with that question of resources, though?
Well, resources of three parts: the manpower, munition, and the weapons. He was less concerned about the manpower. He does have shortage of munition and armor. He needs a lot more for offensive action. He rolled off a sort of shopping list, including tanks, long-range artillery, and missiles. He also needs a lot more munition. We're talking of a scale which, as he himself admitted, the West simply doesn't have. That is basically the biggest constraint, and this is the questions that Zaluzhny is now dealing with, is how does he use this limited resource he has to the maximum effect? Where does he strike? And of course, a lot of it depends, as he clearly understands, on his president, Vladimir Zelensky, because it is Zelensky who is going out there talking to the Western government, and more importantly, talking to the publics, to the nations who vote those politicians in, trying to focus their mind, trying to explain to them how essential this is, that this is not the time to stop and get into pretty much pointless negotiations with the Russian government, which only wants to pause in order to re-attack. This is not the time to do it. This is the time to push on.
So this is still a question of armaments and not one of other ways out of this conflict. There's no real prospect for peace talks or anything that isn't fought on the battlefield.
I think Zelensky was very clear that peace talks, in a way, is the last bit that needs to come in at the end of fighting. He is rightly worried, with all the experience that Ukraine has since 2014, that the reason the conflict will only give Putin and Kremlin time to rebuild. And they've seen it in Donbass. Vladimir Zelensky is very clear that this war can only end when Ukrainians feel satisfied, when Russia withdraws its troops completely. As he said to me, it happens in one of two ways. Either Ukraine drives them out, take more lives, more time, more blood, or the Russians withdraw themselves. And he also talked to me about the occupied territories. He talks about people who have been isolated from the information, cut from their relatives and friends, who've been under occupation, and how the Kremlin and its propaganda working, like Goebbels' propaganda, how it's changing people's minds.
І поки їм дають на голову такий, знаєш, як у космонавта, шлем бац, і вона надівають людині, і вона ж.
As he told me, Ukrainians in the occupied territories are a bit like astronauts who cannot take off the heavy helmets which the Kremlin put onto them, and which is limiting everything they can see. So for him, restoring Ukrainian rule is not just about retaking land, liberating territory, it's also about restoring people's sense of identity and not letting Russian propaganda work. Because, as he said at the very beginning of the war, the real victory is saving as many Ukrainians' lives while retaining Ukrainian freedoms and their sense of identity. This is where land and identity come completely together, and the Ukrainians are fighting for both.
Arkady, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Arkady spoke at length with President Zelensky in an exclusive and personal interview. In a special episode airing on December 22nd, he talks candidly about how his acting career has helped him shape his messaging, about his forthcoming book, and about what it's like to be a wartime leader. To hear that in-depth conversation, listen to The Intelligence next Thursday. This year's World Cup in Qatar is a milestone for Arab countries. It's the first to be held in the Middle East, a football-mad region whose teams are often the underdogs. And the tournament has thrown up some huge upsets, like when Saudi Arabia beat Argentina in the early stages. victorious nonetheless.
It was a great game. The Moroccan players did really well. They did their best. We obviously all think they're heroes, and it was a tough match. The whole Arab world was really proud of that team today.
Reasons for pride at the national level are clear-cut, but looking more widely, well, that's up for debate.
Morocco are the first African and Arab squad to get as far as they did in the World Cup.
Greg Gerlstrom is our Middle East correspondent.
The achievement has set off raucous celebrations in the Arab world, in Africa, and among diaspora communities in Europe. But team success has also raised some curious arguments about Morocco's identity and its place in the region.
Arguments in what sense?
Let's start with the ones that are not open to argument. The first is that this was an African achievement, and of course it was. Look at a map. Morocco is on the African continent. It's been embraced by millions of African fans. Even the Morocco coach has talked about the team's rise in the World Cup as being a historic moment for Africa. It's also an historic moment for the Moroccan diaspora, which lives mostly in Western Europe. Of the 26 members of their squad, 14 of them were born outside of Morocco. That's the highest proportion of any team in this tournament. One example, Ashraf Hakimi, a fullback who grew up in Madrid to poor Moroccan parents, chose to play for the Moroccan squad. He said he felt more affinity for the country of his heritage. And on December 6th, he scored the winning penalty kick against Spain. And so, just as European football has become more diverse in recent years and has really enriched the sport, we also have now the Moroccan squad that has created its own roster of players with complex identities. The one thing that has been up for debate, whether talking to fans in cafes or in fan zones or scrolling through social media in recent weeks, has been over Morocco's place in the Arab world.
And what's the shape of that argument?
It seems like a ridiculous argument in some ways. I mean, Morocco is a member of the Arab League. It's a country where Arabic is an official language, and its culture has contributed much to broader Arab culture for centuries, whether we're talking about modern-day singers who record in Arabic or figures from hundreds of years ago, like Ibn Battuta, the famous scholar and explorer who was Moroccan-born. But the question of Morocco's Arabness is something that Moroccans and Arabs have been talking about. On the one hand, you have many Moroccans who identify as Arabs, and they have been embraced by the Arab world as they have moved through the World Cup over the past few weeks. But you also have Moroccans who are uncomfortable with the label. You have a plurality of the country, perhaps a majority, that is of Berber descent, and to some of them, being labeled as Arab implies an erasure of their identity. The Berber language was long a second-tier language in Morocco. It was only given official status in 2011 as part of a package of constitutional reforms that the king rushed through when people were getting restive during the Arab Spring.
So the center of this argument then is how much Moroccans themselves feel Arab.
There's that, and then there's also how much the rest of the Arab world considers them to be. For one thing, Morocco is quite far away from the Arabian Peninsula and the Levant. I happened to be in Saudi Arabia on the night of their knockout stage victory, and I was talking to Saudis during and after the match, and one of them said this was a win for the entire Arab world, and he was jubilant about it. Another one said really he wasn't that excited because Morocco was as far away as Thailand. There's also a lot of prejudice aimed at Moroccans from elsewhere in the region. The Moroccan dialect is sort of widely mocked for being difficult to understand. But there are also some crude stereotypes directed at Moroccan women from other Arab countries. They are sort of widely maligned as being prostitutes. Some Arab countries have imposed travel restrictions on younger Moroccan women because of this stereotype. So it's a country that even some people in the Arab world have an uneasy relationship, considering part of their region.
And so clearly some part of all of this argumentation is how all of those prejudices, all of that politics, all that history gets mixed up with football on the pitch.
It is, and we've seen in this World Cup how football, politics, and identity can mix. Of course, this is the first World Cup that has been hosted in an Arab country, in Qatar. And so it's been an opportunity for many Arab fans and non-Arab fans as well to show solidarity for the Palestinian cause. We've seen fans coming to matches with Palestinian flag armbands or t-shirts or actual flags. And the Moroccan squad itself has taken part of this after their victory over Spain. The team unfurled the Palestinian flag on the pitch to an outpouring of support from people across the Arab world who, of course, see Israel's half-century occupation